Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Week 5, Rookie Trucks, High Velocity Racing League. Rookie Trucks are back at Kansas. However, this time, a little bit of a change of pace. We're going to be having some left turns and some right turns here tonight. So, excited for this one. We got Road Week here this week in High Velocity Racing. Should be a pretty fun one to get into and watch. For those of you that know a little bit of history about the league, sorry about that. Had to take care of something with my dog there. For those of you who know a little bit of lore about the league, the road courses, for me personally, they treated me very well last season. I know a couple guys here are looking to make their name be known here tonight and try to cement themselves into rookie history. And bear with me for just a minute. I got a little something for you all, and I'm just going to test it and see what matter of fact, we're just going to do this. A little behind the scenes action here. Why don't we? I literally meant to do this before we went live, and I clicked the wrong button. So all right, 10-4. We are ready to roll. So that is what I needed. That's what I needed to check on there. All right, so these drivers are now making their warm-up laps here tonight. See, just under 20 minutes left to go in practice here. A lot of guys have been putting in some time this week in this track. A lot of pretty decent times out there. I ran some laps myself. Quite a few here. Potentially more than some of the guys that are actually participating in the race. It's a really fun track. It was an unknown for us. We wanted to throw something a little different out there for these drivers tonight, and this is definitely a good change of pace for the league as of this moment in time. Looking forward to it. Again, looking forward to seeing some right turns being implemented here tonight. We're going to do our absolute best to try to catch as much of the action as we physically can. Of course, with it being a road course, there's a lot of action to try to get. So yeah, I've got the track map pulled up there for you, but we'll try and pull up a picture of the layout they're going to be running here tonight. All right, so yeah, here we are. So of course, you got Kansas Oval. Okay, traditionally you'd be starting in the same area here in the Guy Kart Restart Zone. You're coming around the tri-oval here. And instead of making the NASCAR 1 and 2, you're actually going to dive down to a late braking zone here. Got a little S turn here in turns 2 and 3, and then of course we got a little bit of a straight before we get into the first, well, the only horseshoe here tonight. Hairpin, I guess you can call it. It's more like the horseshoe though in Daytona, the way it runs. So turn 4, you have this nice right-handed turn to another straightaway with this bend here, and then back onto the tri-oval. So pretty long straight. There is a little bit of road course action, but it's a hybrid between both. Again, a lot of drivers turning laps here this week in practice, which is what we love to see. Sean Happick and Bryce Tucker on the top of the leaderboard for now. Two drivers that after this week I expect to see up there tonight. Again, no pressure to Sean. I know we mentioned it on the broadcast. Looking forward to seeing what they can do in the race. Again, going to be a lot of unknown variables tonight, being that it is road course. So we see some drivers having some issues now. Matthew Chase on a lap here. Hop on board with him from the Chase view. Should stay on board with Justin Nava here. Brother Ed Nava making an appearance tonight as well. So Justin Nava's been somebody who last season was considered pretty sneaky on the road courses. Didn't say much, but here you've got that pretty deep braking zone into turn one. Would have liked to see him take that line a little different, but get a good look at the S's here. Justin Nava getting loose. Easy to do here through the S's. And we see our first kind of long straightaway here of the lap. Again, to a pretty deep braking zone here. Looking to make a move on the 14. Again, this is all just practice. As you see Matthew Chase locking up the front there. Getting a little loose on exit. Again, another thing that is very easy to do here. Get a good run down here to the second longest straight here on the course. Or I guess not necessarily straight, but amount of road without another corner. You got this long sweeping large sweeping. Okay, you know what? English is hard. Try this again. Large sweeping right. There we go. Into that hard braking zone onto the track. And then now it's just run like the typical oval. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a preview. We've got something cooking up for you guys here, though, that we'll show just before we get into qualifying. And it looks like I am now accompanied by William Kern in the booth. Looking forward to some right-hand turns tonight. All right, I'll just go screw myself. Oh, there we go. Hear a little bit of feedback.
Yeah, a little technical difficulty.
You know, I tend to have quite a few of those as well.
Yeah, looking forward to some right-hand turns. I mean, you've done laps here. I haven't even turned a single lap here, but I know you've done quite a few in practice, especially with Sean and everything. From what I'm hearing, turn one isn't too difficult. You gotta get yourself down to around 45 or so for turn one, but turn two, I heard, is going to be a little issue.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Every one of these corners can jump out at you. Turn one is tricky just in the sense of that's going to be your deepest braking zone, the corner that you're carrying the most speed. And then you also have to navigate the transition from the oval to the bank while under braking. And you have to move left under braking the way that the corner is shaped. So turn one will definitely be tricky. Turns 3 and 4 and the S's are pretty chill. I mean, you can still get yourself into trouble. But yeah, it's turn 5 here that is going to be tricky. It's tricky because it's one of those sneaky corners. It's very similar to that first hairpin and the Daytona road course, actually. It kind of gives me the same feel. It's one of those where the entry to that corner is, I mean, that's going to make or break not only just that corner, but your lap. Because you have another pretty decently large straightaway just coming off of that corner as well. So I think that's going to be, honestly, turn 5 is going to be the trickiest corner tonight, just because it is the one that it's sneaky. Everybody knows turn 1 and then coming back onto the oval is going to be tricky. But I feel like this turn that we're seeing Aaron Creighton come up to now is going to be the one that's going to get a lot of people off guard tonight. Not that I am a pro or an expert by any means, but I have shared my laps with some of these drivers on track. And again, I know a lot of guys putting some practice in for this week, so should see some pretty decent lap times. And tires are actually going to be very important here. We go to some road courses where there's not a lot of tire fall off, but Kansas Roval, I guess if you want to call it, is kind of an exception to that, especially with NASCAR 3 and 4. The truck obviously not set up for the proper cambers for a banked corner, so the right front can get a little hot in turns 3 and 4. There is a way that you can try to avoid that, but pretty good mix of corners, but still, I mean, most of these corners that are on the track are right-hander, so the right front is going to be taking the beating tonight, just like traditionally like some ovals. So a little bit of familiarity there. There we go. That's a word. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. It's been a fun week of practice, maybe especially for me, just because there is no pressure since I'm not actually racing. But yeah, it's gonna be fun tonight. And again, as we mentioned it, or I mentioned it at the top of the broadcast, a lot of these drivers are potentially new to some road courses, or at least road courses in a stock car. So I think we're gonna have a surprise winner tonight.
I think so too. I know Aaron has told me he's done some laps here. He's usually pretty decent at road courses, but this is his first time in an actual NASCAR stock car on a road course, and he's like, this thing is completely different from anything I've ever driven on roads. So even if people got a background of road like he does, these things, they do act very different. And I know the tail is very happy, especially in the trucks. If you get on it, the throttle too much, that thing will kick right out on you real easy. So
yeah, it is easy to do. Throttle control is going to be pretty important here as well. Coming out of the turns, just because you have so many low speed corners, and throttling up can be tricky. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I know a lot of guys have been putting in a lot of practice, and I feel like you can kind of see. Now, one thing that I don't want to say surprises me, because that's not the right word, but Bobby Grady has been another guy that's been quiet all week. We haven't heard really anything from Bobby Grady, and right now he's 4th on the list.
Yeah, he's up there. He's usually very decent at road courses like this. The issue he's going to have tonight is he's got to come from the back, and actually he's got a drive-through penalty tonight too, so that's going to hurt him as well. But he still has possibilities as long as he keeps it clean and everything, and times his drive-through right. He could come back, and I dare to say a top 10, depending on how the other guys do here. But I would say at least a top 15.
Well, Aaron, I did have a conversation with Bobby Grady at the beginning of the week that I forgot about so just now, and
he brought it up already.
Oh no, I have another layer here. I'm pretty sure Bobby Grady's going to have a pretty well-timed entrance on his drive-through penalty.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. He brought it up.
Okay. Yeah. So for those of you that
not to give out any secrets. Yep.
Yeah, but for those of you that don't know, and I presume there's probably a couple of you guys, if you get the rookies that are not participating in this race that are watching, you can actually serve a drive-through. If you're at the tail end of the longest line, you can serve that drive-through as soon as it goes green. And I believe that's what Bobby Grady's going to do. The advantage I think that he's going to have here tonight with that strategy, if he's able to execute that at the beginning of the race, that's going to give him an open track for, I would say, presumably 2 to 3 laps. And he's going to avoid all the chaos. Now, I'm sure he's going to still come up on some cars that potentially may get themselves into trouble, but he's not going to have to navigate it, let's say, if you're in the middle of the pack and the chaos is right in front of you. So we'll see what happens tonight. Again, Bobby Grady quiet, though, all week. Bryce Tucker has posted some of his laps in the Discord, and I think he's, literally and figuratively, top of the charts right now when it comes to lap time. He's on the top of the board right now, and then, of course, Sean Happick is right there on his tail. He's put in a lot of practice, and I know Randy Post has hopped in a couple practices as well. The K&W guys, of course, have been practicing a lot, and Andre as well, another guy that is coming from the roadside. He was doing some practice with us, actually threw up a session earlier. So there's a couple guys in here that may have been a little absent per se on the ovals, but may make themselves known here tonight.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't been on this track road-wise or whatever, but Kansas is my favorite track, and this thing is 3/4 real Kansas, and then you throw the road in there too. I should have done some practice laps just to get it checked out, see if I liked it or not, but we have our own road courses this week to worry about as well, Monday and obviously Friday for me over at Coda. So it's road week for everybody, man.
Well, William Kern, you, my friend, are in luck. I took some laps earlier, and let's just say we have a little in-car camera tonight that I'm gonna go ahead and put up on the screen for you guys now. Get this clip started for you, and this is what a lap at the Kansas road course looks like from the cockpit. I'm in my Eternal Racing Ford F-150 for this lap, so I'll go ahead and bring you guys on board to see what a lap at Kansas looks like here. Pegging out that speedo here. Again, this is that first hard braking zone coming into turn 1. You want to try to get your left wheels on that, whatever it's called there. I'm having a brain fart. Rumble strip, there we go. Try to get some extra rotation. Cut the S's through pretty straight. Prioritize a blurred exit, and then get on the brakes hard here. This is that horseshoe we talked about in the middle of the track. You really got to get the truck rotated and planted so you can get a good exit here. Short shifted a little bit first because you can wheel spin all the way through second gear. Hug this left line here, and then here's this large sweeping right we were talking about. Again to another heavy braking zone. Missed the corner here a little bit, but same kind of concept as turn 1. You really want to try to get your left tires on that rumble strip to get you some rotation. Now this is another part of the track that is sneaky because it goes against everything you've ever learned on oval on how to actually drive it. But again, the car not set up with the cambers. So you really have to get the truck in the corner early and get it down the bottom. You actually have this groove here that you can get your left side tires in, and that'll actually help keep the truck planted and rotated. And then, of course, coming across the start-finish line. There, we'll run it through one more time just to get familiar with the track. For that rotation, cut the S's, straighten out the first corner, get a good run on the second. Using all of the track here at Kansas as well. That late downshift again to get the car rotated. Very easy to get loose in a wheel hop here. You hear it a little bit, but getting onto the brakes while still trying to turn right and then have to cut it left is going to be tricky for these drivers as well. Not full throttle here either. You can hear him kind of off the throttle as well. So like this is another part of the track that's going to be sneaky for some drivers as well, just because again that was a corner that took me a few tries, just because you try to take NASCAR 3 and 4 like you're on the traditional set, and you're going to be understeering right into the outside wall. I know from experience. Excuse me. So there you go. There were some laps at Kansas for you. That lap time was a 1:16.6. There is some time out there. Track conditions, of course, varying per session with the realistic weather, but these guys should have some pretty simple conditions tonight. Let's see if that's the case with how everything worked out here. And yeah, so 70-degree temperature outside, overcast with an 89-degree track temp. Track temp very important here as well, especially in the infield. A lot of the laps that I did were on a track temp that was about 30 degrees hotter than it is now. But track temps, although they are easier, I definitely still wouldn't say that they're easy by any means. So another thing that's going to be important here, Kern, you really only get one lap of qualifying here. I mean, when you go out on your out lap, you really want to keep the absolute minimum amount of heat in your tires but you still do need heat in the tires. I did a couple laps and tests where I just cut the whole infield and went around the oval and cleared the black flag, and there was not enough heat in the tires. So you got to balance it on that out lap before you actually take the green flag, and then that first lap that you do is really going to be your best opportunity to get time in the track, just with the tires being at the perfect temp. So you kind of, I mean, you can still make something happen on your second lap. It's not completely just thrown out the window if you don't. But their first lap is going to be the most important. So one little bobble, one little mistake, you know, a couple tenths or even thousandths at a track like this can put you from, you know, top of the pack to the middle of the pack, or even towards the end. So.
Looks like practice is just about over. We got a few seconds left, and then you can do your driver introduction after you let the drivers know pretty much what they're doing tonight.
Yeah, well, they got to qualify first. Let's see. So 45 laps tonight. Another couple things to talk about with being a road course. We got 45 laps. Stages at 11 and 22. Flying stages, though, and no full course yellows. So format's going to be a little bit different tonight. Nothing too out of the ordinary. But, yeah, again, that's going to be flying stages. No full course yellow. So we'll hop on board here with Randy Post. He's our first driver that looks like he's making his way out onto the track. So we'll stay on board with him. He was towards the top of the leaderboard in practice, so we should see a pretty good lap from Mr. Post here. Let's actually hop on board with him once we get onto the NASCAR oval and see what his lap time is looking like. See what it looks like from his cockpit view. Me and Will were talking about how different people can make road courses look. Him and I were doing some practice at COTA, and I was talking about it. Our times were very close, but it looked like two totally different laps between the two of us. So curious to hop in the cockpit with Randy Post here and see what his inputs and what things are looking like on his end. Hop on board really quick with Happy and see what he's doing. So he's taking it a little careful, but maybe a little bit more pace than I would put on the out lap. But here we go. Hop on with Randy Post here and see what his qualifying lap looks like from the inside of his truck. And you can really hear him feathering the throttle. That's what it takes to get through here properly.
Man, I can't believe the transition coming from that road up to the banking on the track. It's such a hard bump.
Yeah, it is, and it can catch you if you're not careful. Randy Post going a little bit wide there in turn one. Up on board with Happick now and see what he's doing.
Yeah, he's coming to start finish now, start his first lap.
So hop on board with him.
Oh yeah, you can hear him revving right out too, just before he hits first corner there. I mean, he is redlined.
Yeah, so depending on how good of an exit you get, this truck chips out just about. If you really nail 3 and 4 and like coming on the backstretch, you actually can chip out. I mean, just coming off of 4 before the start-finish line. So, I mean, yeah, you're really using all of the truck here. You can see Sean, yeah, so far lap looking very good. Gets the truck woe down through the horseshoe. Gets a good run now. This corner also very make or break, as this dictates your run in the longest portion of the track. Yep, gets it woe down. Gets on the rumble strips there. Coming back onto the transition here now, onto the oval itself. Randy Post may have had an incident because we're not seeing his lap pull up either. Patrick Camburn at the top of the list with a 1:17.8. That's going to be a solid lap for qualifying as well. Sean Wilder puts his name up there. Chris Weingar as well, or Weiniger, excuse me. K&W Motorsports teammates there, been putting in a lot of time this week. Sean Happy coming across the line now. And yeah, that puts him at the top of the list with a 1:17.3. It's going to be a hard lap to beat. Let's hop on board now with Bryce Tucker. He's another driver who was at the top of the leaderboard in practice. Looking to have himself a very good performance here tonight. Gets through the horseshoe pretty well. It's a good exit here onto the straight.
I can't see Sean's time right now on his second lap, but doesn't look like he's going to be quite as quick.
Yeah, the tires fall off pretty quick here, especially with the hard braking zones. You get a little bit of heat in the tires, and makes it harder to get around. But if it's done properly, you can still put in a pretty good lap time. You just have to kind of work a little harder for it. But you see Bryce Tucker now getting that truck planted into this groove here in NASCAR 3 and 4, getting on the throttle, tracking it out, open up the steering to the wall and back down to the dog leg. Let's see if that puts him at the top of the leaderboard. It puts him 200th off Sean Happy's time. And Happy comes across the line again. Doesn't improve his time, but still.
Gave it the old college try on the second lap.
Yep, now we've got Ryan Seabolt. Looks like he's shutting her down. Try to see if we can get somebody going. Yeah, here Kyle Rogers now. He's already performed one lap, so this would be his second.
Man, look at that time spread, though, in the top 5. I mean, top 5 are almost a second apart from 1st to 5th. It's close.
Yeah, Kyle Rogers goes a little bit wide coming onto NASCAR turn 2. That's going to compromise his run. 3 and 4, but he still can pick up a little bit of time if he can get that truck planted properly tonight. Let's see here. Yeah, Chris Weiniger shutting it down as well. Kyle Rogers coming across the line and see if he improves his time any at all. Was scored in 16th. Looks like he's going to stick there in 16th. Kean Fry coming in hot in turn 1. That's going to kill his run. Yeah, so it looks like Randy Post doesn't have a valid time on the score sheet, so it looks like he may have had an incident in practice. Those X's here are killer, as we know. Christopher Dyke now coming into turn 5. He goes wide a little bit. He'll get a little bit of a run on the backstretch. It's still going to hurt his entry, though. Randy Cornwell just about in the same position as him. Cornwell, our repeat winner, coming off of last week at Kansas, of course, on the oval.
Yeah, speaking of X's, man, tonight might hurt some people on the IPL list pretty much as bad as a super speedway would if, you know, even just a couple tires off track can give you that 1X. So,
yeah, going to be pretty tricky for some of these drivers, but I've got faith in them. I think if everybody just takes it easy on the first lap, you know, we should be in a pretty good shape. Of course, accidents and mistakes are going to happen, but we can try to limit those for the sake of everybody. Should be a very good race. It's going to be a good race regardless of what happens here. Randy Cornwell improves his time a little bit, but I don't think it moves him up the charts any. See Randy Post still sitting on track, but it looks like that's going to conclude all of our qualifiers. Yeah, 2.5 minutes. So,
yeah, I mean, your first to third is a half a second already. I mean, that's quite the spread. Like I said, I mean, 1st through 5th is right within a second of each other, and then 6th place is a second and a 10th back. So I think we're going to get spread out pretty good tonight.
Now, there's going to be one key factor that's going to determine that. Well, let me take that back. There's going to be a lot of key factors, but a very important factor tonight. Anybody can go out there and put a very good solo lap down, but it's going to be navigating traffic that's going to be the tricky thing for these guys. I saw it a little bit in practice and did it on purpose. I played chase with a couple of drivers just to kind of see what their composure looked like, you know, in a battle. And, you know, again, putting a lap together when you're the only one on the track and you have the whole track to use at your disposal is one thing. But to be on the track with, I think we got 32 drivers or 31 drivers tonight, how's that going to look when your line is a little bit compromised?
Yeah, I mean, you got the line that could be compromised, and obviously you don't know where these guys are going to, you know, start to slow down for the entry of these corners. And, I mean, if when you're behind somebody, like right on them, you can't even see the corner coming. And then they slow down at a different braking point that you do, and you can just slam right into the back of them and ruin both your nights. So it's road course racing is a whole nother game, man.
Yeah, and it looks like everybody's through with qualifying, so we're gonna go ahead and get this advanced. We'll have a little drivers meeting with our drivers on the track, and then we will meet back up with you guys for the starting of the actual race. So sit tight. We'll be back with you here shortly. Alrighty, we are back. Drivers meeting is just about wrapping up here. We'll hop on board and take a look at our starting lineup for a Kansas road course. Starting on the front row, CTS Motorsports driver, the number 52 of Sean Happick. And starting on his outside, the number 7 of Bryce Tucker. Again, two drivers that have put in a lot of practice and have some really quick lap times. We'll see what they can do in traffic tonight. Starting in your second row, we've got Patrick Camburn in the 84 and Bobby Grady starting in the 1. And then we've got Chris Winiger in the number 53 truck. He's going to be starting on the, well, not really an inside and an outside at the road courses, but he's going to be starting in the third row. Rounding out the third row, we've got the number 15 of Justin Nava. And starting in your fourth row, 19, Andre Carvalho, another driver that's pretty familiar with the roadside, put in a lot of practice today, so seems to be paying off for him. And then we've got another K&W Motorsports driver in the number 99 of Sean Wilder. Also participated in the HVRL Rolex 24. They were able to get third place in the GTP class, so congrats to those drivers as well. I believe it was Sean, KT, Hunter West, and I believe Danny Gross, if I'm not mistaken. Starting in the fifth row, we got Brad Doer and Brett Pritchard. And then starting in row number 6, we've got Ryan Sebo and Ed Nava. All right, starting in the 7th row, we've got Ben Thomas and Dustin Bloodworth. And in row number 8, Clint Hackett and Kyle Rogers. They're going to be followed by Christopher Dyke and Randy Cornwell in the 9th row. And in the 10th row, we've got Josh Parker and Kean Fry. So in the 11th row, we've got Randy Post and Trey Young. Matthew Chase and Christian Noble rounding out your 12th row, as well as Mike Kufel and Tim Rourke rounding out the row following behind them. Kenan Cook and Mike Mangus, 27th and 28th. And in 29th and 30th, we've got Aaron Creighton, Tim Clements, in the row just behind them, Corey Moore and Michael Cole. It's going to be rounding out your field tonight. All right, Sean, real quick, congrats on the pole tonight, man. I know you had some speed. You're looking forward to getting this thing, getting a W here tonight. What are your predictions for this race here? How do you think turn one's going to go?
I feel like, I don't know, one of two ways. People can just make a mistake, bounce it, lock it up, and create some havoc, or everybody's going to be real mindful. Not sure quite how that's going to go. But happy to get the pole. I'm sure we're going to have some good battling here with Bryce and a couple of these other guys that's behind him as well.
Yeah, you get rid of one Bryce, and then in comes another. Bryce Tucker is very quick.
Man.
Shown his speed this week, and I've got a couple sleepers up there that had some good qualifying times that didn't really say too much throughout the week. So should be a lot of competition up front, man. We're excited to watch some right-hand turns, and good luck to you, man. And we'll see if we'll see you at the end of this thing.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, that was your pole position qualifier there, the number 52 of Sean Happick. We'll see what happens with him. He's on an upward trend here so far this season, these last couple of races, so we'll see if he can continue that momentum here on the road course. He did very well at the road courses last season, if I can remember, so no slouch there. Not a weak point in his game at all, as it is for some drivers on the road courses, but about another 15 to 30 seconds or so, and we'll be taking the green flag here at Kansas. I wish I had a stationary camera at turn one. Let me see really quick. That one almost takes care of it, but excited to see what's going to happen here as these drivers get going. Going to be a long, stressful race for these drivers, but I know they can handle it, and I must say I'm glad I'm up here in the booth and not in the cockpit. Oh, well, I'm a little happy. I love the road courses, but nonetheless, Geico restart zone. I don't know if that's exactly where they're starting at, but green flag should be going, and looks like here it is now. Sean Happick getting a great jump here. Turn number 1. Yeah, gets a good gap on everybody else. See all the trucks piling in now. Looks like everybody gets through it cleanly. Sean Happick now looking to try to extend the lead early here. First 3 cars getting a pretty decent breakaway. Now coming into the braking zone into turn number 5. Sean gets it roped around the apex. Looking to get a good run here now on the penultimate corner before we get back onto the NASCAR oval. Going to swing it wide out to the line, try to cut this entry as straight as he possibly can to get a good braking and entrance into this corner. Bryce Tucker, though, in tow now. Get a little bit of draft, but a smooth transition onto the oval, and it looks like so far these top 3, again, looking to extend their lead.
Looks pretty clean so far. I haven't seen anything too crazy. Nobody off track yet.
Yeah, everybody. Oh, and as we say that, Randy Cornwell gets a little excited on the throttle coming on to the oval. Short little spin for him, but no harm, no foul. Sean Happick coming around the start-finish line to lead your first road course lap of the season. Let's see how he manages this braking zone now that he is up to speed. Looks like a little bit of jockeying position for the 3rd place. Justin Novice sending it in deep into turn 1.
Yeah, he did.
Makes the pass, though. Going to compromise his entry here into the S's a little bit, but Patrick Camburn going to think better of it. Stucks in behind him. Sean Happick and Bryce Tucker, though, checking out so far.
Yeah, we'll see if that web slinger truck has got anything in it. Yeah, 10-4.
Drivers coming around turn 5 now onto, again, this kind of second long straightaway before we make our way back onto the front stretch. Sean Happick still holding on to a pretty comfortable lead so far. Everybody getting back onto the oval now. See 2 wide now. Josh Parker and Kyle Rogers. See how they navigate this here in NASCAR 3 and 4. Again, trucks don't handle as good as they would, and never mind the camera pans off. But now, Brad Dorr looking to make a run on Andre on the front stretch, coming with a full head of steam. We'll see how these two manage being side by side through turn 1. Andre going to take the longer way around, but sends it in deeper.
Looks like 18 laps, sir.
18 laps, so these drivers should get through the first stage pretty comfortable without a pit stop. Great move there by Andre to defend that position in turn 1. Randy Post now trying to work on Ken and Cook. Clint Hackett now. Turn 5. Ooh, the number 4, Dustin Bloodworth, getting a little squarely contact in turn 5. A little bit of a pileup. But, oh, big accident there with Aaron Creighton gets jammed up there. Mike stuck behind him as well, so that's going to kill a lot of time for Mike. They're going to lose a couple positions. Aaron probably going to have to come down pit road for a tow.
Looks like he's moving again.
A repair. I said tow by accident. Let's hop on board really quick with Mike Kufel and see his point of view from this incident. Gets the truck slowed down in turn 5 and sees a little bit of a pile up there. And yeah, Dustin Bloodworth's just trying to get out of the way and makes a left turn into Aaron and nowhere for Mike to go. So small contact for Mike, but I don't think it should be anything that'll hurt his truck. Aaron Creighton, they're going to try to limp it around and try to get it back to pit road, but it looks like Sean Happick now still in the lead with Bryce Tucker close in tow, but they have checked out from the rest of the field. Patrick Cameron, though, going to be your next driver in closest proximity. And, of course, Hyperdrive Esports driver Justin Nava, another sneaky guy we talked about last season. He scored in the 4th place spot for now. So any one of these top 3 drivers make a mistake, and Justin Nava is going to be looking to capitalize, as is the rest. Chris Weiniger and Sean Wilder, K&W Motorsports teammates there in 5th and 6th. So solid performance, solid run from them so far. It looks like we may have had an incident here again. See, coming into turn 1, Timothy Clemens getting it slowed down. We'll see what happens. I'll just see, it comes in with a little bit too much speed into the first corner. Matthew Chase makes a little bit of contact. So not as bad as SDK made me think it was going to be. But very easy to do there, especially with the wheel hop these trucks get. That transition onto the banking in turn 1, very tricky to handle.
Yeah, you're carrying so much speed into that turn and trying to woe it down and carry it as deep as you can at the same time, because you brake too early, you're losing a lot of time. You brake too late, and like you said, you end up wheel hopping, and you can either keep it going straight and not be able to turn, or it just turns around on you.
Yeah, we see Christian Noble in turn 5 get on the throttle a little bit too early, and potentially some trouble for Justin Nava. Looks like he may have potentially gotten into an incident. Let's hop on board with Nava and see what happens here. See if turn 1 claims yet another victim. Yeah, it comes in a little hot in turn 1. I can see it now. Yeah, just tries to get it woe down, locks it up. But no real harm. He's going to lose a couple positions as he safely rejoins the track. So that's
yeah, those tires are going to be pretty hot, though. They're going to be screaming for a little while, so he's got to take it easy.
Yeah, and we see that potentially here with Tim Clements. Just had that incident in turn 1. Now, yeah, same thing. Just comes in a little hot, coming onto the oval, and truck just gets out from underneath him. Very easy to do, especially once it happens once. Justin Alva going to lose some spots there, but nothing he shouldn't be able to try to come back from. Kenan Cook losing it on the oval. Very easy to do.
Looks like Bryce there is, keeping about the same distance from Sean up front. He closes in every now and then, but then Sean kind of takes off a bit. But, I mean, they're taking off from 3rd place for sure.
Yeah, it looks like Bryce now making a little bit of progress on Sean here through the infield. We'll see how that translates the back half of the track, though. You can see these drivers now making their way onto the oval, so lap traffic may be in store for these drivers here in just a couple more laps, barring any more mistakes. See if Sean can hold on to the lead, though. This is what really is going to tell the tale between these two, is who can handle being chased and who can handle the pressure.
You do get a little bit of draft, I'm sure, especially coming off from 3 and 4 towards that start-finish line. But I can't imagine, because by the time you get up to speed and you finally catch the draft, you're already needing to slow down for turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, you get a little bit of draft, but you really can't even do much with it in 3 and 4. Because, I mean, the dirty air here is pretty bad. I mean, again, these setups on these trucks for the road course, you know, they're not set up to have all the camber and the caster and the toe that you would have for the oval. So you actually have to slow down through the corner as well.
What setup are they even using? Because I noticed there was no actual Kansas road setup.
Yeah, so I believe, I don't know, I think there's a default road setup, if I'm not mistaken, or
gotcha. Yep,
he may even be using the Watkins Glen setup that we've made a little bit of modifications to. So another thing too about the draft is, I mean, obviously, again, it's going to help a little bit, but these trucks chip out so early that you really can't maximize that like you could at a super speedway where you have the long gears. I mean, you're chipping out these trucks pretty early, so. We see Bryce now, though, closing again here on the oval. He's been very strong here. Sean going a little wide.
Yeah, I would say they're going to catch that first lap car there with at least this lap, I would think.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Dustin Bloodworth, we saw him have a little incident in turn 5.
I gotta imagine right in the S is probably where they're gonna catch him.
Yeah, and that is not the place you want to catch somebody.
Right.
So far, though, a couple of mistakes, but everybody holding on to it pretty decent. Say that we may have an incident now with Josh Parker. Up on board with him and see what happens. I think the braking zone is going to claim another
you should have
victim.
seen that. Bryce was right down on him, and yep, they caught that lap car right in the S's too. But Bryce tried to get it in there pretty deep into turn 1 and tried to get him below Sean, but Sean closed the door on him.
Yep, just looked that back, yeah, and that really compromised his exit there on the left-hand S turn. So Sean Happick holding on to it for now, creates another little gap to Bryce Tucker. So all that time that Tucker just gained on him, he's going to have to get back. So,
oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure he smoked those tires too.
So Nava and Andre battling now. Andre going to defend it in turn 5, but Nava says, I don't care, I'm going to take the long way around. See if he gets the run here.
These two leaders, Bryce and Sean, are picking on each other too. They're saying, which one, I wish you'd mess up so it'd take the stress off of me.
Yeah, we see Justin Alba making a power move on Andre around the inside, or excuse me, on the outside both turns. He's going to make Andre go wide onto the oval, so Justin Alba making quick work now, gets another spot back after that incident. Yeah, it looks like Tucker may be a little bit better under these deep braking zones, but Sean able to carry his speed very well throughout the rest of the track, so.
I am seeing that too. Something else I'm seeing with Sean versus Bryce here. Sean on this corner coming up, this little hairpin here, he takes it, ducks it low, but then he takes it really wide to get that run on that straightaway there.
Yeah, and we may have potentially yet another victim. Number 53, Chris Wagger. Let's see what happens here. I think we yet have another braking zone victim here.
Oh yeah, 21 just went to the grass as well, coming onto the just before that turn, coming onto the main track.
Yeah, so 53 Chris just misses turn 1 a little bit. I now know that when SDK says somebody crashes, it doesn't mean necessarily that they've crashed. So I was a little bit worried there for Chris, but he goes a little bit wide in turn 1, but hangs on to it. Sean Happick now extending that lead even further. Matthew Chase now looking to make his way back around Dustin Bloodworth. Dustin Bloodworth, though, going to defend in turn 5. Matthew Chase going to try to take the outside line, and my camera's not going to have any of that. Now it wants to go back. See Christopher Dykoff track in the background there a little bit through turn 5.
Yeah, and once this lap is complete, that's actually first stage right there.
Yeah, so we'll hop on board here now. Get this front two, see if anything changes before the end of the stage. Looks like Bryce closed the gap up a little bit. Still, though, I think Sean's going to have to make a mistake if Tucker's going to get there before the end of the stage. Sean's doing a really good job, though, of taking care of his tires. We haven't seen him really lock up any tires or anything on these braking zones or get too heavy on the throttle. That's going to come in very clutch for him over the course of the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about consistency. I mean, you've noticed a lot of drivers are over driving their truck, trying to gain a little bit of time on the guy in front of them, or maybe even, you know, get a little bit of a gap from the guy behind them. But you overdrive your truck, and you can actually make it worse for yourself. You end up in the grass or just overshoot the corner.
Stage 1 winner, Sean Happig. Bryce Tucker going to finish in second spot here. We'll hop on board with Patrick now. Watch him cross the line as he's going to get P3 here in stage number 1. Again, flying stages here tonight, so not going to get the field put back together. Chris Weininger now making his way on the front stretch. Cross the line, P4, stage number 1. The 60 of Brad Dorr going to cross the line. P5, Sean Wilder at P6, Justin Nava P7, Brett Pritchard P8, Ben Thomas P9, and Andre going to run out of the top 10 in stage number 1. Oh, Clint Hackett driving it in deep into turn 1. Tries to go for a little bit of a late apex, not able to hug the line just yet, though.
Oh, Sean got a little sideways there coming onto the main track when you hit that transition there like I was talking about.
Yeah, well, rewind it just a little bit. That's going to get Bryce now closer to him. Oh, yeah, gets a little loose and actually sends him down the oval, but Bryce is going to have a hard time passing him in NASCAR 3 and 4. Get a little bit of a run, but that truck's going to be on that ship here very soon, so not really going to be able to take much more momentum. Let's see if he tries to make Sean make a mistake in turn 1, or if Tucker looks for a move.
Oh, he's got a car there too.
Oh, yeah, that's going to get Sean a little loose on the entry. Outbrakes himself. Yeah. Sean outbrakes himself, feeling the little bit of pressure from Bryce Tucker there on the entrance to turn 1. Probably saw that truck there a little off pace in turn 1, and I'm sure Sean's eyes lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, we got our first lead change for the night. Tucker is now in first, Sean in second, but I can't imagine Sean's going to let that stand for too much longer. He's going to be right up on that rear end as long as he didn't smoke his tires too much.
Yeah, well, now we get to see how well Bryce Tucker does on the pressure. Again, this track a little bit more difficult when you've got a bright red Spider-Man truck in the rear view. Sean's going to be looking to shoot some webs out of his grill and try to bring the 7 of Bryce Tucker back onto him. See if we have potentially another issue on track here. Yeah, Josh Parker looks like he's got a little bit of left front damage already. This is that lap car that we saw behind Sean. Yeah, just locks up the brake coming onto the oval. Saves it though. So we'll keep an eye out on that battle for first. Oh, potentially, unless the timing is pretty big here. We've got 3 drivers here, Randy Cornwell and Kean Fry. Looks like they both maybe have gotten collected here. We'll see. Yeah, Randy Cornwell just sending it in hot, locking it up.
Oh, right on the leaders are right on. Yeah, Sean is now up on that rear end, but lap cars have a lot to do with that. They're catching a lot of traffic right now.
Yeah, Ken and Cook let the leaders.
Oh no!
Oh,
no!
he's not. Oh, good avoidance there from Bryce Tucker. That could have been tragic. It looks like Ken and Cook trying to get out of the way and gets onto that grass and just gets it hooked around, but nonetheless. Oh, Sean closing in on Bryce hard there. Bryce going to get a good run though back onto the oval. Sean going to be close in tow. Man, I want to show the rest of the field, but these two are giving us quite the show to watch. Couple shout outs though. Randy Post, he's up 9 positions from where he started. Bobby Grady had that drive-through, so it scores him down a couple positions, but we actually see him scored 15th. See these two drivers getting it woe down. Sean going to take a little bit of a later apex.
Yeah, as far as Grady, like I told you, man, I was thinking probably a top 15 tonight as long as he did good and stayed out of stuff. The way he was going to time that that drive-through.
Yeah, we see Randy Cornwell now locking it up a little bit into turn 5, but gets it around cleanly. Yeah, Sean really taking turn 5 wide, trying to get as much of a run as he can.
There are trucks everywhere on this track. Holy cow.
Yeah, this is where it's going to start to get real interesting. Sean, though,
Yeah.
a little hot on the brakes. That's going to compromise his exit.
Yeah, not a spot to be messing up. That's all that momentum on that straightaway.
You see Andre now trying to make work of Kenan Cook, who's scored a lap down, I believe. Andre in the 10th place spot right now. Clint Hackett close behind him. So Andre under a little bit of pressure now.
We're actually coming to the start of lap 15, so we're probably just like a few laps out to start seeing these guys pit.
Yeah, and one thing that I did not do at all because I didn't need to was practice pit entry. So I don't really know how pit entry is going to work here, let alone pit exit as well. I mean, the pit exit obviously is, it's straight out into turn 1, but a good pit cycle here could also change the outcome of this race. But we'll come back to these leaders here in just another lap or two as they're coming up on a decent amount of lap traffic now.
Yeah, they got a wall of cars in front of them. Oh, there's one off track right there. 12 car, I believe it is.
Yeah, Christopher Knight goes off track. Mike Kufel maybe a little bit further back than he would have liked. Got stuck behind the cars there. Coming through turn number 5.
7 almost loses it. Coming back onto the straight.
Yep, so that's going to bring Sean right close to him in the fight. You're killing me every time I look away. You raise your voice and something else happens. But Justin Nava now trying to make his way back up through the field, putting a little bit of pressure on Brad Dorr in the 60. We'll see how Brad can fend off Justin. Justin looking to his right side, letting Brad know, hey, I'm here, I'm in your mirror. See how Nava navigates. There we go. This hairpin back onto the oval.
Looks like we got a driver or two deciding to pit in a little early, but got them starting to take it now.
Yeah, so Justin trying to make his way around Brad there. Looks like that gap back extended a little bit between our top 2 here. And board now with the 6 of Ben Thomas. Quiet race for him so far, but scored in the 6th place spot. He's up 6 spots from where he started.
Oh, got a car right in front of the leader's turn.
Yep, Kean Fry in the 14. Looks like the leader's able to navigate it though. See Kean trying to get that truck turned around. Not a lot of trucks behind him, so he should be able to get that truck pointed in the right direction. 74 of Mike Mangus now in front of the leaders, coming on to the backstretch. Where Sean catches Mike here is going to be very crucial.
I have noticed that Sean is getting a really good entry into 1. Like, I think he's got a later breaking point now. I think he's really felt it out. You'll see this gap close up pretty good, unless the 74 gets in the way, but...
Yeah, so Sean's going to have to navigate that. He's probably actually going to lose a little bit of time because the last thing he wants to do is get himself into trouble. But actually, they get through there pretty clean, but still going to affect Sean just a little bit.
Yeah, I got a lot of takers on pit road now. They're really starting to pile in there. I got to imagine these leaders are going to be coming in, if not this time, then one more lap.
Yeah, we are definitely within that pit window now. 74 of Mike Mangus really squeezing Sean there tight through turn number 5. So Sean's losing a lot of time to Bryce Tucker here. He's got another car here on his inside, the 4 of Dustin Bloodworth. So decent amount of time lost there for Sean. We'll see if he can try to make some of that up on pit road. Gap now to just under 2.5 seconds. So Justin Alba making his way down to pit road. don't know if that was scheduled or not.
Yeah, Sean is taking it this lap.
So hop on board here with Sean and see what this pit entry looks like.
Yep, looks like Tucker might be taking it as well.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Sean get a little bit more aggressive there on his pit entry. Looks like he's able to gain a little bit of time, though.
He is a little safe on pit entry, but I'm kind of the same way, too. And afterwards, I kicked myself in the butt for it.
Our top two now down pit road. Bryce Tucker gets in his box clean, as does the 52. We see the right side go up for both of these trucks. Bryce Tucker and Sean elected to take at least right sides. I'm sure they'll take all fours. There we go. We see the left side of Tucker's truck pop up. Bryce Tucker out. Sean Happett close behind him. The gap was just under 2.5 seconds. A couple more takers. So it looks like Ben Thomas is going to try to get himself a lap lead. Bryce Tucker got a little bit more traffic than Sean does, so that may help bring Sean back to him just a little bit. Drivers have to be careful now.
Yeah, and these guys' tires are cold too, so hopefully they pay attention to that, because that rear end will kick out on you with them cold tires.
Yeah, Bryce Tucker. Oh, Bryce Tucker loses it! Comes back on the track a little bit. Sean able to get around him. So that's going to cycle Sean out to the lead. Man. Yeah, it looks like Bryce Tucker just trying to take it in deep, trying not to lose a lot of time to the lap traffic. And we've seen it. Most of our incidents tonight have just been under the braking zones. And that's exactly what we see here now. Coming up behind the 6 and gets in there a little deep and locks it up, and the rear end goes around. Very easy to do here. So that's going to cycle Sean back out to the lead.
Yeah, not too far though. He gathered it back up and he's back out there. He's only a few car lengths from Sean now.
Yeah, and we got a couple more laps to go before we get to the stage. Andre making his way back out onto the NASCAR oval now. .53 of Chris Weininger, now P5 still, so hasn't gained or lost anything. So the 97 of Brett Pritchard as well. He cycled towards the front of the pack during the pit cycles. Looks like now everything kind of starting to settle back in. Justin Novice still scored an 8th. Close there to Brad. He was trying to make a move on before the pit stops. So Sean now over just under a second and a half now to Bryce Tucker. We'll keep an eye on that now as this lap. Yeah, Tucker gains almost a 10th there on entry, but now we'll see. He actually ends up losing it. So they've had an incident with number 1 of Bobby Grady. Let's hop on board with him. Yeah, just following the 81 and just probably target fixation a little bit, gets a little loose, and same thing, car comes out from underneath him. Bryce Tucker looks like he's getting a little loose off 5, trying to chase down Sean. Two to go here in stage number 2. Race going by pretty quick though.
That's what happens when you don't have cautions, man.
Well, I would imagine the race might not be going quick for the drivers on track anyway, but up here in the booth, it's going by pretty quickly.
Yeah, we're just about halfway there.
Matthew Chase up 15 spots from where he started. solid run for him. We'll hop on board with him for a minute here. Oh, leader's going to be coming up on a little bit of action here. The 81 around.
Oh.
It's okay.
Yeah. It sounded like Matt Chase is actually coming into pit right now.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, there he is. I wonder if that's his first stop of the race. I wonder if that's a scheduled stop for him. Seems like a lot of extra laps to be able to stretch it, so. So this is going to be stage number 2. Sean Happick, 2 stage wins here. Kansas road course, that's going to be huge for him in the points category. Bryce Tucker, of course, just behind him, another second place finish in the stage. Patrick Camburn actually lost a spot to Sean Wilder, it looks like, on this lap. So Sean Wilder now scored in 3rd place. But you can see just how big the gap is. Leaders going through the S's now. 3rd place spot coming in NASCAR 3 and 4.
Wow, that is a heck of a gap, too. Oh, I wonder what happened there. Sean, I don't know if he pulled over and let Bryce go or what. Oh, and then he turns him.
It's like I said, every time I try to go away. Yeah, it looks like Sean maybe just gets a little loose out of the S's. We back this up further. Maybe let's see if there's anything that happened before that.
There wasn't. I don't know. I think Sean might have let him go. And
no,
then,
so Sean gets loose into turn 1, compromises his tires a little bit, gets a little bit loose coming out of the S's as well. Tucker gets a huge run.
Yeah, and I did overhear that Sean just missed his braking point and got in the back, but he is giving the lead back as a, nice guy that he is.
Yeah, so a little bit of contact, though. Tires, though, on Tucker going to be a little bit worse for wear, but your stage 2, I don't believe anything's changed. Sean Happick, Bryce Tucker, Sean Wilder, Patrick Camburn, Chris Weininger, Justin Nava, Brad Doerr, Ben Thomas, Brett Pritchard, and Andre Carvalho, your top 10 for stage 2, 23 laps to go. Justin Nava now back up to where he started in the 6th place spot. So it looks like he is able to get around Brad for P6.
Them cars that pitted late, like Matt Chase, and I think the 22 is in there too. I'm wondering if they were trying to stretch it and see if they could make it on one stop. But if they stopped at 21, they're not going to make it.
Yeah, and you're going to lose a lot of time there as well trying to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those strategies where you for sure need to make that work if you want any chance, because that's going to put them, very far behind the curve, especially at a road course where the field's never going to get stacked back up. So not really going to get an opportunity to get it back. Justin Nava makes a pass on the 53.
As of right now, we're sitting with 14 cars on the lead lap.
And Justin Nava makes his way back up into P5 now. So Nava looking to make his way back up through the field from that early accident that or not really an accident, but that early mistake that he had in turn 1.
Yeah, Bobby Grady, he's moved up a couple positions as well. He's up to 12th. He's close to going a lap down though, so he's got to definitely pick up the pace just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, again, we've got one more pit stop. Let's see, that should be coming around 36. So in about 10 or so laps, we should be having another pit stop. So again, there's some time that can be gained or lost when these green flag pit stops cycle through. Yeah, so 6 laps since Sean Happick and Bryce Tucker have pit 12 It looks like since Wilder's pit, so I don't know if he had a short pit in there, or I'm not really. I don't know if maybe this, maybe I'm not reading this right, but nonetheless.
No, there's a good chance he probably short pit. I think I would have done the same thing. These guys are stretching it. They're full 18. I would have split it knowing that I had to stop, you know, was it twice? I just split it evenly just to keep my tires fresh.
Yeah, so Wilder probably going to be coming down here soon. I would imagine if he stays on this strategy. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on him. Sean Wilder, that is. So far, it looks like our biggest mover, as of right now, if standings stay the same, is going to be the 9 of Mike Kufel. He's scored right now in 14th. He's up 11 spots from where he started. And as I pan the camera on him, he outbrakes himself a little bit, coming back onto the oval.
Yeah, and the leaders are right behind him.
And it looks like maybe another incident now for Nava. Let's hop on board with him and see what's happened here. Yeah, it gets behind a little bit of lap traffic, and let's see if that throws off his braking a little bit. Yeah, it does. It sends him deep. Gets into the 22 of Cornwell in turn 1. A little bit of damage on that truck. Cornwell, though, I think already a lap down, so not too much harm done there to him. But now that's going to put Nava under some pressure from the 53. A little bit of unnecessary heat in those tires.
I think the most corners getting most of spinouts are obviously turn 1 and that hairpin. Those two are getting the most action tonight.
Yeah, those braking zones proven to be a little bit tricky for these guys, as we kind of suspected at the top of the broadcast. See a 34 of Kenny Cook off track. 53 trying to get around the 30. This is going to give a little bit of a gap now to Nava. Happy, though, down back 2 seconds to Bryce Tucker. So it looks like Happy's very good on the early part of the stint, but maybe falls off a little bit. Looks like we may have had an incident with the 53. Looking up the inside of the 30 of Aaron Creighton. 53, probably a little bit later on the brakes, I would assume, and yeah, just goes off track. Well, it didn't even really go off track, so again, I don't know why SDK is showing me that crash, but things all good there.
Oh,
And there
Sean.
goes Sean.
Yep, he overbraked, locked him up right off into the open. At least there's not a wall there, though.
Yeah, no real harm, no foul. Loses a little bit of time, but Tucker also had to navigate a little bit of an incident in front of him, so that's going to help Sean a little bit. We see the number 9 of Mike Kufel locking it up, going onto the apron. Sean getting a little loose as well.
Yeah, those tires are screaming right now for him.
Action all over the place. Andre still having a solid run, still scored in your top 10 for now. Mike Kufel has gained another position since we last spoke about him.
So at this point, people can pit and can make it to the end of the race if they decide to come in early. But I doubt there's going to be any takers, at least for the next few laps.
Yeah, I think me personally here, I want to try to stretch this out as far as I can, so that way I have the freshest tires for the last stint of the race. Would be me personally.
Yeah, I can see that, and obviously they don't need a full tank either, just enough to make it to the end. So that's if they stretch it as far as they can, like you were saying.
And again, Sean has proved to be pretty good early on in the stint. So we'll see if he can try to gain some momentum, see if he can get a little bit more aggressive on the pit entry and try to make up for some of that lost time. But another thing that's going to be important as well in this final kind of stint here is going to be how they're able to navigate traffic.
Yeah, Bobby Gray's going to be the next victim here to go a lap down to the leader. He's entering turn 1 now, and there's the leader coming into turn 1. So it's going to be close. So we might only have just a few cars left on the lead lap by the time this is over.
Yeah, all depends on where they pit as well. Grady might get a little bit of extra time here because the leaders still have to pit. I don't know when the last time Grady pit, but should get a little bit of time. Sean kind of falling off here a little bit, but again, we'll see if he's able to make something happen.
Well, let's put it this way. The leader is 2.8 seconds ahead of Sean.
Oh, Wilder down pit road as well now, too. He was your third place truck. So it looks like out of this lead little kind of pack here, Wilder is going to be the first one to go down pit road. See if that'll gain him any time. A couple guys locking it up onto the apron. Bryce still doing a good job of not panicking, seeing that in front of him at his windshield. See the 7 trying to get in a little bit of the toe of the 34 of Ken and Cook. Now we've seen Kenning have a little bit of trouble, and there we go, we see it. Tucker, though, able to get around him. But Kenning's still there on his outside. Breaks early, lets the 7 go. 7 locks it up into turn 1. Not too terrible, gonna lose a little bit of time there, though. Shouldn't matter too much, though. About to fill it up with some Sunoco race fuel and some 4 fresh Goodyear tires on there. And I wonder if we're going to see any strategy here in this last stint. Again, as you mentioned, you're not going to have to completely fill the truck up with fuel, so there may be a potential that somebody doesn't take tires here. I don't know that how well that would work out, but nonetheless, could be a strategy.
Oh, right in front of the leaders, Grady, and I think, what is that, 14?
Yep, 14 with Key and Fry, but no harm, no foul. They get through it. I would imagine within this next lap or two, we should see the lead cars go down. Sean Wilder, again, the first one that kind of was up in this fight here, was the first one to come down pit road. But he's in some pretty heavy traffic right here as well, so not going to be able to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's lap 30. They came in at 18, so they could make it to 36. I mean, they could probably make it even a lap further than that, but I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, Bryce Tucker gets through turn 1 there clean. $15 laps to go, though. Still plenty of time to make a mistake.
There's been a lot of them tonight, too. I mean, even from the leaders, so anything can happen.
Yeah, Nava makes his way back up into 4th now, so he's clawing his way back. Got a pretty decent gap between him and the 84 of Patrick Camburn, but we'll see again. Still have pit cycle to go through, as well as one final stint on some fresh tires. So we'll see if cold tires will jump out and grab anybody here in this final stint. Hopping on board with Mike now. He may have had a little bit of an incident of his own. No, he's, I mean, 14 of King is loose in front of him, but he goes on to it. So yeah, Patrick in turn 5, Nava on the little straightaway before him. So decent amount of time there between those two. Bryce Tucker not going down pit road. It looks like Sean not going down either. And I mean, looking at this track map, there is not a lot of empty space here on this track at all.
No, there's not. There's cars everywhere.
It's been one hell of a race, though. I really hate that I got boycotted. I tried to get myself signed up for this race, but the drivers didn't want that to happen. But I'm in Coda tomorrow, so
yeah, I was gonna say we got our own at Xfinity, and we're gonna have our hands full as well.
But I would have loved to have been out here. This track looks like a whole lot of fun. Sean now close behind Bobby Grady. You see Bryce Tucker making quick work of Hackett, another lap down there. Grady doing the admirable thing, just getting out of the way, letting his leaders try to fight it out. Sean still losing a little bit of time though, so may have pushed it a little bit harder on the stint, and those tires may be feeling it now. 11 cars on the lead lap now, it looks like. Or, excuse me, 10 cars on the lead lap now. And they'll probably go a lap down momentarily as Brad Doer and Chris Weiniger are both on pit road. Bryce Tucker going around one more time. Sean Hackett going around one more time. Patrick still just now coming onto the oval, so we'll have a little bit of time to see what he does.
Yeah, it looks like Couple and Nava's coming in for their last stop.
Gotcha. So we'll see how that is going to be playing out for Nava here. He's coming onto the oval now. A little bit of time before he makes his pit stop. The 12 goes a little bit wide. 7 almost follows him. Still, though, not too much time lost. So these trucks should have just a couple more laps before they need to come back down. And there we go. We see the 7 dipping down onto the apron.
52 is going around again.
Yes, he is. Sean going back around. See, Sean, though, does have a little bit of traffic in front of him.
I gotta imagine, I mean, after seeing that 7 car come down, I would probably have to do the same because them new tires are going to start the show.
Yeah, and again, I mean, Sean navigating the first lap car pretty cleanly. So we'll hop on board now with Bryce and see where he's going to cycle out.
I mean, what would you do here?
I mean, I like Sean's strategy. I mean, try to go the extra lap. That's going to put the pressure kind of back on Bryce a little bit.
I would say, is that what you would do? Is just one more lap after seeing the 7 car come in, or would you try to stretch it like you were saying before?
Maybe try to stretch it a little bit. I mean, I'm looking here, though. I mean, Bryce is going to have some lap traffic. We see Kennan go wide in front of him. But, I mean, I think Bryce might have a pretty open track. So, I don't know. I mean, Sean might need to come back down this time by. Of course, you don't really have a way to completely gauge how lap traffic is going to be. But, I don't know. That's a tough call to make. I mean, it would really kind of just depend on how I was feeling inside of the truck. But, yeah, I mean, Bryce still does have a little bit of lap traffic, but Sean has it closer. It looks like Sean, though, going to go around at least one more time now. He's getting a little bit of tow now from the 12 as well. Let's see how that's going to fare for him on turn 1. He cannot lose a lot of time here.
Yeah, see, I got to imagine the first lap here, he's not going to lose too much time, especially with Bryce being on them colder tires. But second lap, he's going to start losing a little bit of time to them fresher tires, and it's going to start to show.
Yeah, and then again, Bryce has a very open track ahead of him. I mean, Matthew Chase is the next car in line, and he's a good bit ahead. And then the next car in front of Chase is another good bit ahead as well. So Sean having to navigate through a little bit of traffic, whereas Bryce Tucker, pretty open track. We'll see how that cycles back out when Sean elects to go down pit road. I mean, pretty open track, though, for Sean right now as well. Just a little bit of smoke up ahead.
They could literally wave at each other as they go by right now.
Yes, they could. Sean clean, though, back onto the NASCAR oval. Both these drivers, both Sean and Bryce, both just need to be careful here. It's going to be a close fight between the both of them, but neither one of them need to push super hard here. Looks like
Sounds
Sean...
like,
Yep, and he's got a little bit more of an aggressive entry this time, which is what I like to see. Now, this is what's going to really intrigue me to see exactly what he's going to do. I mean, we see Bryce just coming off a NASCAR 2, still on the backstretch. I mean, in NASCAR 3 and 4, we see Sean just now getting into his box. This is going to be close. I think Tucker's, though, going to have the advantage. But the good thing is turn 1 is not too far, and I think Sean may have only taken rights. I mean,
Really?
Back this up just a little bit and see if that is true. Yeah, Sean just take rights.
Wow, that's ballsy.
It is ballsy. That does put him right back behind the 7, though. I did play around with just 2 tires, and there we see it. 2 tires here. It's a risky call, especially under braking is where you notice it a lot. Again, the left side's up to temp worn out. 81 gets a little loose in front of 7, though. Hooks it left, so no harm, no foul done there. But yeah, the left side tires being worn in a little bit more than the rights makes this truck have a weird balance under braking. A lot of lap cars ahead, both these drivers, though. Sean gets a very aggressive entry. Bryce gets caught up a little bit behind some lap traffic. That brings the 52 right back to the 7. But it looks like 7 gets into second gear a little bit better than Sean. Pulls on him just a little bit. This is going to come down to mistakes or lack thereof here between these two.
I gotta imagine Sean's gonna break really late into turn 1.
Yeah, and Bryce off his line a little bit, trying to avoid the 53. That might compromise his entry just a little. It doesn't, though. Hits his apex well, as does Sean.
Yeah, he didn't break as late as I thought he was going to. He might be taking it easy with those 2 tires.
Yeah, again, the balance of the truck, you can definitely feel the left sides. Again, under braking as well is where you really start to feel it. The truck almost wants to pull to the left, just ever so slightly. Again, though, this track a little bit more right-handed heavy than left, so... Well, excuse me, left-handed heavy, which is going to affect the right side tires more. But it looks like that gap, though, is opening up, so...
Yeah, them 4 fresh tires are definitely showing.
Props to Sean, though, for trying it. I mean, strategy doesn't always pay off, and it doesn't always hurt either. You never know what's going to happen until you try it, though. And again, I mean, we still got 9 laps to go here. That's plenty of time for either one of these drivers to make a mistake.
Correct. And as of right now, we're sitting with 11 cars on the lead lap. It's a half a second back from the leader to Sean Happick. And then it's another 32 seconds back to Sean Wilder. So there is a lot of gap between the 2 Seans there.
Yeah, and I don't know if Nava may have gotten into some trouble or what. I'm not sure, because he's back down to 6. But maybe potentially Clint Hackett, who's up 10 spots, hasn't pit. Maybe a potential issue for Sean. It says he went off track, so maybe just a track limit here. Yeah, I believe that's what that was. Yeah, really using all of the track there, so...
Oh, and Bryce got a little sideways there coming out of the hairpin. Andre was kind of in his way, so...
Yeah, Clint Hackett scored in 5th right now. But yeah, Hackett yet to pit for his second time. Last pit on lap 19, so he should cycle back out of position there. So that'll put Nava back in P5 once he comes down pit road. We see Patrick now in turn, or coming through the S's, and Nava going into turn 1 now. So I don't know that Nava's going to get to him without a mistake, but he's going to try to get that podium spot. As we see Tucker now trying to navigate some traffic. Yeah, it looks like Tucker's starting to run away with this one, so I think Happy's going to need a mistake if he wants a chance at P1 here.
That's what he's hoping for right now, is for something to happen to Bryce, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, just 7 laps to go here, and again, Bryce Tucker has got 2 lap cars in front of him side by side. We'll see if that sorts itself out, which it looks like it does. Bryce now diving to the inside, trying to make quick work of this lap traffic, makes quick work of the 6. Yeah, I mean, this is Bryce Tucker's race to lose here now at this point. I mean, Sean's got 4 lap cars in between him and Tucker. Or 3, excuse me.
Yeah, and 2 older tires.
Yeah, so in hindsight, if I was Sean, I probably would have pit with Tucker. Of course, no way to know that until after it plays out. But again, we'll still see what happens.
Yeah, this is 6 laps to go when they cross the line.
Yeah, but again, just one mistake can make or break the race. I think, again, depending on how big their potential mistake could be, I think at least either way, these drivers should be locked into first and second. I don't know about that order, but nonetheless, again, a pretty huge gap there between the 3rd place car and Sean Wilder. So if these two keep it clean, first and second should be a lock. What were you going to say there?
So we had 32 cars tonight.
And 6 show to be on the lead lap.
Yeah, I was about to say, we're looking at 6 on the lead lap. Wow.
And I think that just comes down to track management, making mistakes. My SDK software has been lit up with a lot of red with off tracks and incidents.
Oh God, I was really liking tonight. There was like 7 or 8 cars on IPL, but next week is not going to look pretty.
No, it is not.
Actually, I think they stay off. I think they stay off until the next IPL review. So I think we're still good, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we'll have to confirm that and see what's going down. But yeah, I mean, this is really one of the best way to learn is just to just do it. Let's hop in the cockpit with Sean and see how it's looking like from the inside of his truck. Big surge here onto some lap cars into turn 1.
You know, he's keeping about the same distance on Bryce right now. So
Oh, but
I
these
actually
lap
thought,
oh my God, close.
really close.
And I was on board with Sean. He might need a pair of underwear after that. That's going to cost him some time as well.
Yeah, that spider suit has just turned brown.
Yeah, and he goes a little bit wide. He may have a car on his inside. I can't tell from his cockpit view, but
He does.
yeah, and then pretty sure actually still ahead. So Happy now probably going to lose a little bit of more time now.
Yeah, he actually lost a decent amount of time from that.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Tucker now checked out in NASCAR 3 and 4 now. So
Yeah, we're 4 to go at the line.
I mean, I know Sean would probably still be happy with a 2nd place finish, but I know he's looking to get that monkey off his back. Try to get a win here.
Hey, finishing like I always say with road courses especially, finishing podium at one of these things is a win in itself.
Yeah, and I know Gateway, the next track on the schedule for the rookie trucks, that's another one that Sean Happick has circled, so he's going to be trying to carry that momentum. An incident, though, in front of Bryce Tucker. Bryce, though, trying to limit the time lost there, but he's having to go really offline. Spins the tires coming back onto the oval. So still a decent gap, but...
Yeah, Sean was very happy to see that, but I think he would have wished that it would have taken a little more time.
Yeah, that gets Sean a little bit more back into the fight. Let's hop on board with Tucker and see what the course is looking like ahead of him. Now, one more car to 22 of Randy Cornwell, and then the track is pretty open from there. I don't know that they'll get to anybody else barring any mistakes. So once he gets past this 22 of Cornwell, Tucker's going to have some open track in front of him, and he just blows by Cornwell. But Cornwell now on his outside, but Tucker able to make pretty quick work. Cornwell may have given that position up for him just a little bit. I was surprised on how quick he surged on him there. 3 to go here, though, at the Kansas road course. We'll see how Sean Happett can navigate his way around Cornwell. Tucker locking it up just a little bit in 5. Sean, though, doing a pretty decent job of managing those 2 tires.
I would have to agree with that.
Looks like 4 was still the clear advantage, but
Not by much. I mean, he's closing some distance here.
yeah, getting him a little bit. But again, that incident there definitely helped him. Gap just over 2 seconds, and this as well, being side by side from Cornwell, is going to compromise Sean's entrance into 3 and 4. He's going to lose a little bit of time here as well. It looks like Cornwell does the right thing, gives it up. Not the right thing, I guess, but the respectable thing. And Gap coming down slightly. Just 2 more laps to go here at Kansas Road Course. Tucker might get to this lap traffic, so we'll see. He's loose out of 1. Loose getting into 2 a little bit, yawing it out, really maximizing the grip in those fresh Goodyear tires that aren't so fresh anymore. I know Tucker's just praying that these cars in front of him can get around clean and he can make quick work.
Like that one.
Yep.
44 just moves right over for him.
Two more cars here. One of them gets a good entry.
Oh, no. Oh, Sean. Got into 44 a little bit there.
Oh, yeah, sends it in deep. The 44 just having a weird line. Let's see if that's going to give any damage to Sean. It looked like pretty minimal contact. Yeah, it looks like he should still be good.
We're coming to the white flag.
Yeah, white flag. Just 1 more lap to go here for the number 7 of Bryce Tucker. Let's see what he can do just 1 more time here at the road course.
He's got a little room behind him, too, so I'm sure, hopefully he's looking back in his mirror and just, all right, let's take this last lap nice and easy, not overdrive it, and we'll be good.
Yeah, no need to push here at all. He's got the 60 of Brad Dorr in front of him, though. Let's see how this plays out in turn 5.
Yeah, that's actually the last car there to pass for the top 5, actually. That would make it to where there's only 5 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, and Brad's putting up a fight. We got a lap car, though, coming onto the track. Everybody gets through it, though. Oh, Tucker going to be offline here onto this corner. This is going to be a huge corner here for him. Gets on the inside, gets a little loose onto the oval, but no harm, no foul. Sean close to him, but I don't know that Sean is going to be able to get there.
Yeah, I don't think so. So it looks like Brad Dorr did stay out in front of the leader. He was not about to go a lap down.
No, solid finish for him as well. Bryce Tucker coming out of NASCAR turn 4 now onto the front stretch. Checkered flag. He gets the win at Kansas Road Course. Sean Happett close behind him as well in P number 2. Sean Wilder now still in the infield. He's in the 3rd place car, so he's going to be coming on to the NASCAR 2 now. That just goes to show you how impressive that run was for Bryce Tucker and Sean Happett. Battling throughout the whole race and still able to put a half a lap, almost 3/4 of a lap gap on the next car in line, number 99 of Sean Wilder, who had a little bit of a different pit strategy as well. I mean, it paid off for him. He's on the podium. He's up 5 spots from where he started. So Sean Wilder, P3 here at the Kansas Road Course, fresh off of his run at the Rolex. Patrick Camburn in 4th, crossing the line now. Justin Nava on the backstretch. Turns 3 and 4, so that's going to round out your top 5 here. We'll go and get the running order and the final results here for the rest of the field at the end of the broadcast. But top 5 here at Kansas Road Course. See Bryce Tucker just chilling there in turn 1. Sean making his way back around, probably going to put this Spider-Man Ford F-150 down pit road. Yep, and just get off the track and let Bryce Tucker try to celebrate here.
Yeah, looks like Bryce Tucker did have the fastest lap tonight too. Yep, and Tucker actually led 27 with Sean leading 18. So looks like Bryce got that one too.
Yeah, that was a fun race. I planned coming in, just keep it clean. I kind of thought about right before the race, trying to stretch it just to one stop. I ran 5 laps and I could see definitely that was going to be a struggle to do. So I wanted to get some stage points at that first stage. So I stayed out, and then right after that stage is when I pitted, I think. I think that's about where I pitted, right? I don't remember. Yeah, so, and then yeah, I didn't take tires the whole race. I had to do something. I didn't have the pace to keep up with those top two, and actually, I probably didn't have pace to keep up with the, top 6 or 7 or so. So I knew I had to do something different. So it was stressful, but I mean, I was saving tires, and I came across the line with zero point 0.1 gallons of fuel, because of that strategy. So I was saving fuel, saving tires, so that made it a little more manageable. You know what I mean? I knew I wasn't going to run as hard as I could the whole time. And I'm looking at my tires now; it's 86, 87, 86, 89 in the middle. So my tires weren't even burn up. I was going very easy on things and just trying not to mess up. I overran turn one time. Other than that, it was a very clean race. So yeah, of course, you guys. Thank you, Karen, Bryce, Sean, everybody that puts on this league. Thomas, I know Mike helps out, and Chris helps out when he does. And then also yesterday we ran 24 with KT McCann, Danny Gross, and Hunter West. And I appreciate Hunter from jumping in at the last minute. But we had a freaking blast. P3 in our class fighting for P2. It was so much fun. Very tired, but hey, it was fun.
It was the only chance I had, to be honest. I think I faked my own self out with that qualified lap because he was faster. I kept blocking some of his runs a little bit to not, because it is pretty hard to pass out there, it turns out. And really, the only place I was really getting them was on the oval. maybe a little turn 1 through those S's. He was good through those S's. But once turn 7, getting back on the oval, and the oval is about the only spot out of that. So I messed up. He got around. I missed my break point. I rear-ended him. I told him I was going to let him get it back on that oval because I wasn't going to pass someone like that. So, but he was faster. I mean, that's all there is to it. I tried take 2 there, and I actually was staying up with him for taking 2, but I knew that was the only chance I had. I was hoping to be in front of him, but it just didn't work out.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, we saw that slight contact there between you and Sean, or excuse me, you are Sean, you and Bryce there. But yeah, you did the nice thing and let him back by, and yeah, I was a little interested when I saw that that strategy there with the 2 tires. I mean, obviously easier to look at things in hindsight, but do you maybe wish you would have went down pit road with him when he pit? I mean, do you feel like that's where he gained a lot more time, or I mean, what do you think kind of happened there? Because you had the pace. I mean, me and Will were talking about it up here in the booth. I mean, it definitely looked like he had the slight advantage going into the braking zones, but you were no slouch throughout the rest of the track. I mean, it looks like you always had a solid, NASCAR 3 and 4. So
Yeah, I feel like I was hoping he was going to get in traffic coming out, and I was pretty clear to go do a couple more laps. So I was hoping, and I knew I was only going to take 2, and I didn't know what it was going to be like because I didn't practice taking 2 at all them laps I did. So I was just hoping with the kind of a clear track and him maybe getting caught up in some stuff, I was able to take 2 and get out in front of him, maybe get a lap car between us, and then I would be able to hold him off for 7, 8, 9 laps. But man, he just got out in front of me. So
Here's a shocker for you that we just found out tonight too from our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Wilder, taking 0 tires tonight.
did he?
Is 0 tires. He didn't change a single tire. I cannot believe that.
Me neither.
yeah, he actually too he broke down the stage, so he actually pit on lap 11, did a 12 lap stint, and then pitted again. So I don't know if he had an extra stop or his pit strategy was a little bit different. I also want to mention out too that apparently my mic was muted for his interview, so we still heard him, but that's what we were asking Sean. So I'm sure you guys could probably tell what my questions were based on his answers. But yeah, no tires for him. He said that his tire wear was pretty good. I don't know about the actual heat that was in his tires because I feel like that kind of plays a little bit more of a role. But
the heat was about 190 on the right front, 170, and 160 on the rears. But according, his 123 lap to my 119, I mean, that's 4 seconds off. So tires after about 5 laps, I mean, you were losing over a second. So whether I know the heat and the percentage didn't dictate that, but all I know, it was a heck of a race. How was the rest of the field? Was the broadcast good, guys?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Broadcast was
Good.
amazing. I mean, we kind of hit the nail on the head. I feel like I did, based off just of my knowledge of actually running this track combo in the car. Most of the incidents that we had tonight were people just getting loose under braking and losing it. So that's kind of what I figured was going to be the issue. But lap 1, I don't believe we had a single incident at all.
Nice.
So,
I think I won both stages. I had the fastest lap for a minute till he pitted and came back out, and I got pole. So I got some good points. So I'm happy that, like I said, the best guy won. He was faster, so I'm not upset about it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you're looking forward to next week. I mean, that is your track that you
I am.
always highlight. So
I definitely am.
yeah, looking forward to ride that momentum. Good race for you.
yes, sir. Good job tonight on your 2nd place finish. Anybody you want to thank?
Oh no, just you guys up there in the booth. All the great admins, including the league owner that puts this on.
Yeah.
And no, that's it, man. Now y'all get Bryce
Wife.
here. Huh? No, she laughs at me all the time anyway. Forget her. This will probably be the one broadcast she watches.
Yep.
That's how it is.
100%.
And you're going to be sleeping on the couch because of it. But nonetheless, 1st place finisher, the number 7 of Bryce Tucker, gets the highest spot on the podium tonight after one hell of a run between him and Sean. Talk to us, man. How does it feel?
Yeah, it was a really good run. Sean's a scholar, man. We had a little incident there, and he let me by, so I appreciate it. Just good battling. brought a road course guy to an oval league, and just glad to be a part of it. And you guys do a great job. Really appreciate everything, all the hard work and the detail you guys have put into this league. It's really cool. For me, I've just came to sim racing. I did a lot of Forza on Xbox with controller, and I knew I'd like sim racing, so I put together a rig and got on iRacing in about May, and here we are. So road course is my thing from sports car stuff, so I thought I had a decent chance here.
Yeah, and I mean, you showed it there. I saw you putting some of those lap times in the Discord as well, and I mean, you had the fastest lap in practice. You know, not the race practice, but just practice, you know, in general, and that clearly paid off for you. I was telling Sean, he finally gets away from one Bryce, and then here comes another. I mean, you did a hell of a job tonight, man. Sean able to edge out the pole, but I mean, you were close behind him, and I mean, me and Will were talking about it up here in the booth. It looks like your strongest suit tonight was those very deep braking zones. I mean, you were able to gain a lot of time on Sean during those braking zones. How important do you feel like that was for your victory here tonight?
Extremely important. You had mentioned it in the group chat about letting off a little bit before braking, and that's a huge part of driving when it comes to sports cars and road course, and it allows the vehicle to settle a little bit before you get on those brakes hard. Obviously, you want to brake as hard as you can in a straight line, and then slowly start to taper off and really work on that trail braking. And I've had a lot of practice at it, so I knew the braking zones were important for me, so it definitely paid off.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, great battles all night between you and Sean. Last question that I really have planned for you that we didn't really ask anybody else. I mean, seemed like you guys were able to navigate lap traffic pretty well. I mean, of course, had a couple incidents that were close, but I mean, how was it getting around lap traffic here tonight?
Yeah, well, if you do IMSA racing with those multi-class cars, and if you do the GT3s, you're typically the slowest car, so you're avoiding a lot of messes regularly, and those are the races I've done. So just looking out and being able to see that stuff happen ahead of time is very important, because there was a couple that were pretty sketchy there. Lap 40, I think it was, towards the end, getting onto the apron, I really had to go wide on one of those.
Yeah,
There's
that's
one
the worst
early.
one we've seen too. Yep.
Yep. And then there was one earlier in the race on the hairpin. I heard you guys say over the intercoms, good job at missing that. The biggest thing is just you got to find that pace. Do you gun it? Do you let off? Just seeing it is very important. That looking forward and anticipating, I guess.
Yeah, good job tonight on the win for sure. I mean, it was no domination, but between you and Sean, I mean, you were a good 40 seconds ahead of third place pretty much all night. So it was great seeing the back and forth up front, but in the end, you came out with the win, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, Sean's a heck of a driver, and really just a better racer in general, meaning he understands what it takes to be a good, clean race car driver in a simulation mode, and I appreciate him for that. So appreciate you guys. What a fun night.
Anybody you want to thank or give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd love to thank my teammates, Randy Post, Clint Hackett, and then Bobby Grady, first and foremost, for inviting me to this league, and then you guys accepting the invite, and here we are. So I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much.
Well, it's good having you. Again, congratulations on your first win in HVRL, and hopefully we'll talk to you again in the future with another podium or maybe even another win.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
You too.
So there it is, your top 3 interviews there. Again, solid racing. Everybody thinking highly of the track and the race and each other, which is awesome to see. Again, a little bit of an experiment tonight, but that gives us some ideas for potential stuff next season. We'll play around with it and see. But again, obviously, we talked to our top 3. We've got Patrick Camburn finished in the 4th place spot, as well as Justin Nava in 5th. So able to bounce back a little bit after that early mistake from Nava. Brad Dewar scored in 6th with Brett Pitchard in 7th. Ben Thomas gets 8th, Andre Carvalho in 9th, and Bobby Grady rounding out your top 10. So solid finish for Brady. I always do that with him. For Grady, I mean, top 10 while serving a drive-through at a road course. That's an impressive run out of him, as well as the 28 of Clint Hackett. And we've got 2 teammates here, the 53 of Chris Weiniger and the 9 of Mike Kuffel in your 12th and 13th spots. Ryan Seabold, I think, making his HVRL debut tonight as well. He scored in 14th, as well as Trey Young in 15th. Kyle Rogers scored in 16th, another solid run for Matthew Chase in 17th, and Dustin Bloodworth in 18th. as we go through your results here now. And
Yeah, looking at Randy Cornwell in 19th, Michael Mangus, a 74 driver, in 20th, Randy Post in 21st. Ed Nava, is he any relation to our other Nava here? Just
yeah, I believe they are brothers, is what I think I saw in the Discord. Not 100%, but I do believe that is the case.
gotcha. Mr. Ed Nava finishing 22nd. Christian Noble 23rd. Tim Rourke in 24th. Scene Fry in 25th. Josh Parker 26th. Aaron Creighton comes out with 27th. Christopher Dyke 28th. That was actually another driver that had a drive through tonight. Kendon Cook 29th. Timothy Clements in 30th. Corey Moore in 31st, and Mr. Michael Cole rounding out up to 32nd. Heck of a race tonight, man. Like we were saying, I mean, without them cautions, it flies right by. But again, like you said, I'm sure these drivers wish it went by a little quicker.
Yeah, we saw a lot of action there on track, but nonetheless, no really big incidents tonight, so that's always a plus. But just when you think you can't get over it anymore, we come back tomorrow, not at the Kansas road course, but at COTA in the Xfinity car. So some long lap times there. I know we put in some practice, and that's going to be a grueler as well. So what we missed being in the car tonight is going to definitely be made up for tomorrow for sure, and then some. But looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, we're at least another, minute on top of that. We're 225, 230-ish for the most part on COTA tomorrow night, and them Xfinity cars are a handful. So I mean, me and you've been running some practice on it a little bit here and there, and I'm just curious to see what it's going to look like with a 15 to 16 drivers out there tomorrow.
Yeah. Should be a blast. Road week here and high velocity racing. Of course, the trucks will be at COTA as well on Friday night, but that's going to conclude the broadcast here tonight for the rookie truck coverage at Kansas Road Course. Again, it was a blast to call. I'm sure a lot of these guys had fun and maybe some didn't, but it was awesome to call up here in the booth, and I'm looking forward to being back there on the track tomorrow night. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and being part of the broadcast, and we will see you guys here tomorrow for some Xfinity at COTA.